Hey everybody, it's the Coon Prairie Ramblers. We're back again. My goodness, we're confabulating and mind meandering, and we got the KC here in the Moonshine Gang.
Alrighty.
Luke, the rebel without a clue.
I'm afraid so.
And Melman. And we talking about exercising and diets and stuff, but now we're going to go the other way. We're going to talk about eating, because we're going to talk about camping is what we're going to talk about.
Y'all miss some
When
good
you go
stuff during
camping, you eat.
You missed some good stuff during the break, but we can't talk about some of that stuff.
About the twins and all that. No, we can't do that.
Who likes to go camping?
I used to love
I
to.
do.
Primitive. And I'll tell you what, there is no better, talking back on food, we're back off the diet now.
Yeah.
There's no better food in the world than a campfire breakfast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's just something special.
Because you're extra hungry when you get up.
I think it's the aromas all everywhere.
The atmosphere, the ambiance,
Mm-hmm.
it is.
But that bacon frying, oh, you hear the sights, the sound.
Skillet out there over the fire crackling.
Oh, God, it's just
Everything tastes good in the woods.
fried eggs. You got to toast your own little toast. You don't have a toaster out there.
Boiling your coffee, making sake coffee out there.
Cowboy coffee.
Or cowboy
Sake coffee for Luke and cowboy coffee for me.
I'll have milk.
Milk for Bill. You don't.
You can't do that primitive camping, can you? Milk? No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Bring in a cooler.
You take a cooler.
Oh, is that primitive?
Go in the wintertime and put it in the water.
Primitive basically just means you're in a tent.
Oh, I thought primitive like you're laying out on the ground.
Well, you're
done
laying
that
on the
too.
ground, but usually you're in a sleeping bag and you got a
Okay.
tarp under you or a cot. But we usually just had a tarp down.
Yeah, to keep the dampness of the ground.
Yeah, getting up in the morning to eat. But the problem was getting up. You
Wake up stiff.
You don't want to get out of it. Like, I can't get out of here.
But you had no choice.
Yeah.
Or you'd still be there.
Nature called.
Oh, yeah, you got to
get
go.
out of there.
But when you're primitive, you ain't got no place to go except for just out back there.
That's why you make sure there's bushes around.
You get a latrine there. Take a little latrine.
There's always a way to go.
Yeah, I like the
Where there's
primitive.
a will, there's a way.
I primitive camp at Howard Johnson's.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding.
You ain't camping out, you're wimping out.
I always like to go up to Nantha State Park up there in North Carolina.
Yeah,
that was nice. By the lake. One time we were camping and a tropical storm came through. You know, it was one of those like Hugo came through. You know, the hurricane and then the results of it. And we're laying there, we're sleeping, and it's just all kinds of noise out there like that, just raising a row. And I heard the gush of running water. Now, we's not too far from a lake, and we're on the side of a hill.
This sounds biblical.
And water is just rolling. We can hear water rolling down the road. I mean, down the hill. In the morning when we got up.
Isn't this story in the book of Ezekiel?
I think so.
We got outside of the tent and looked around, and here the land had slid. There was a landslide on one side of our tent. The land was eroded away. And on the other side of their tent, the land was eroded away. A terrible storm came through and just washed things away. But our tent was right in the middle.
Well, this is a biblical story.
Yeah.
Biblical proportion.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We were protected.
I would have got up and built an altar the next day after that.
you
You were prepared for a reason.
You should have named this, we'll call this place Bethel.
Yeah.
Bethel.
Big Bethel.
Big Bethel.
Oh.
But, you know, in all my camping experiences, they've always just been out in the woods. I've never been to a campsite. I've never been to a state park camping. I've never been to anywhere like that. It's just been out in the woods.
In the woods.
Like
On
behind,
the river,
like
by a
behind
creek.
your house in the woods?
No.
Oh,
further
way
than
out.
that, way out.
Oh.
But we never camped at a campsite. Now, I think Luke goes to Ocala, don't you?
Ocala National Forest.
Every
I do
year,
now,
every
because
year.
There's nowhere to camp around here anymore.
Yeah.
Used to back in there, but we're talking. They say it's primitive. It's way out. You're like 3 to 5 miles off the road. It's on a lake. It's gated. You can't. People can't just drive in. It's got a big gate. You got to have a lot. Key to it gives a combination to go through it.
Is it a state?
Yeah, it's the national forest.
You pay.
We rent about 100 acres, and it's got a giant lake.
Oh, my. Yeah.
And nobody else can get in there but us. We can camp all by
Hey, this
ourselves.
is sounding good.
We can get out there. We take our baths out in the lake. We got all the privacy we want. But they have bear-proof garbage cans up there. The rangers will come in maybe once over the weekend. They'll pick up all your trash for you. They have vaulted toilets, which is basically a concrete outhouse down the road.
I've seen those.
But there's no flowing water. There's no electricity, but they do have a pitcher pump out there.
Really nice smelling ones, right?
And that's all. Yeah, and that's all we need out there. So
That sounds good.
it's
to me.
nice because nobody you can shoot guns out there.
I might have to get your
We see
further
people-
information on this.
All right, well, I'm going in November if you want to go.
Sounds
Down here in Florida,
That's great.
we have a lot of natural springs,
There are.
There are.
Manatee Springs, and
Yep. Silver
and
Spring.
Silver Springs, and Zolfos. No, not Zolfos Spring, but
Yeah, that we have also.
they have a
Rain-
spring. Do they?
Rainbow Spring.
With the, the natural, the
Blue
whole
Spring.
You go up there, there's also coming up out of the water, out of the ground.
bunch of
in the water.
Zolfos.
Zolfo Springs. Zolfo means sulfur in Greek.
Oh.
It was Sulfur Springs, what it was.
I am elucidating.
There is a sulfur spring.
That's right, but that's where the name came from. Zolfo.
Lithia Springs. There's Lithia
Lithia
Springs.
Springs.
Yeah.
Lithium come up out of the ground.
Oh, but that thing is wonderful. It's it's as big as this room here.
What, lithium?
The hole in the ground with the water rushing up out of there.
Big flowing well.
And you get over, you stop swimming, and it just pushes you down the river.
Like an artesian well.
Yeah. A lot of artesians well. I have an artesian well on my property.
Do you?
That
Yeah.
originated in Artesia. Artesia.
A bunch of artesians come
Any
up out of it.
artesian people?
You could hire them.
I think we're getting kind of
Silly.
What do you like to cook in the woods?
larky here.
What do you like to cook in the woods?
I like to cook breakfast first and foremost.
Yep.
And it's bacon. Always involves bacon, eggs, grits.
We do grits.
We usually don't do taters for breakfast.
Once in a while we will.
Yeah, but it's so easy to cook you.
That's right.
Grits.
That's exactly right.
And we used to have these little toasters on a stick. It was
That's
like
right.
you held a piece of bread and you hold it up to the fire.
That's
and
right.
turn it till it got that. It was good toast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Butter on that.
but then a lot of times we would cook ribs. And now
For
this
breakfast?
is something. No,
Oh, later on.
later on supper, not dinner.
Yeah.
Supper.
Supper.
And we used to do it in a very primitive style.
With
We'd
you.
take a palmetto stand. I mean, not palmetto, a cabbage stalk. Stick it in the ground and hang those ribs from that cabbage stalk facing the fire. And it boiled all that. You could sit there and watch all that fat dripping down there,
Man.
dropping. And or sometimes later on we got where we was a little bit fancy and we would build a grate. Not build. We had a grate built. It was on metal legs, and we'd build a fire, and then we'd shovel coals over, put them up underneath that grate, and that was some of the best ribs I've
Cooking
ever
slow,
had.
super slow.
Super.
Nothing but the heat coming off
Yeah.
the coals.
Oh, yeah. And you just see that little,
Oh.
it wasn't really a flame, it was just that little dancing coal embers. Oh, God.
That's exactly right.
Y'all want to go camping this weekend?
That's it. We're gonna talk
I'm
me
getting
into it.
nostalgic here.
We used to take old Dutch ovens and
yeah.
I line mine with tin foil
Right.
and drain, get about a gallon of beans and drain them pretty much and put them in there and put some onions and barbecue sauce and whatever in there and put that lid on and you can either set it down in the coals or put it over the fire or the coals in the coals or over the coals and let it cook for I'm talking hours and hours and hours and hours and hours until it's just almost gummy or whatever. That's why I like my baked. I don't like runny baked beans.
Peach cobbler's real good in a.
I've never cooked that on a
It's simple: flour, milk.
Yeah, but you got a dozen guys out there.
Yeah, and you.
I don't think we got enough.
And we used canned peaches, so it's simple.
We'll have to try that sometime.
They're real simple.
Anyway, we might come back to camping and do a what if.
Oh, yeah.
A what if of that. So we all sit tight, start packing up your camping gear, camping stuff,
Ready to go.
hit the woods.
Don't ever go camping on crutches. I did that one time.
I don't have to hear about that one again.
Yeah. I'll tell you about it.
We're on out of here. We'll see you in a few.